Okay, we've just come up to 11:30 now. So if you've got your mat, your blanket, cuddly toy, anything else you need to be comfortable, maybe a little drink nearby, then we will come in and find ourselves a comfortable seated position, ready to begin. So that might be perched up on your knees or sitting on your bottom. And then seeing if you can grow maybe a little taller through the crown of your head. Use that golden thread to lift you up a bit higher. And we will start by taking 3 breaths together with the chime to help us settle into our yoga space. Each time we hear it, breathe in through the nose like you're smelling the flowers, and breathe out through the mouth like you really want to blow the seeds off of a dandelion. So take a big breath with the chime. Lovely. So today is really a rather special day. It's World Environment Day. So we're going to bring some of that into our yoga practice and look at how all living things are connected in the web of life. So we have this huge diversity in our ecosystem, starting from just the tiniest little single cell bacteria up to the most complicated of animals and plants. And altogether, we have around 8 million species of different life on our planet. So obviously, we're not going to get through all 8 million things today, and nor would I be able to name all of them for you. But we are going to look at some of the variety of life in our ecosystem and considering how if we take the care to look after our planet, how the planet in return will look after us and provide us with everything that we need. So we're going to start today by rolling down onto our back and hugging our knees in towards our chest and imagining that we're a tiny, tiny single cell of bacteria, a really simple living thing. It isn't capable of very much, but it's very important in the overall balance of our ecosystem on Earth. So maybe instead of being a tiny small piece of bacteria, we could begin to expand and grow by stretching our legs out wide on the ground and stretching our arms out wide. And then maybe beginning to move those arms and legs, reaching them, bringing them together. And then spreading them wide again, really stretching through your body. Reach long through the fingers and toes as you stretch and move like a very simple form of life. Lovely. So bringing your arms and legs back to the middle and then draw those knees in once more towards your chest and see if you can roll all the way up without placing your hands down. And then sit tall and hug your legs in really, really tightly as we move up into the fungi in the world, like our little mushrooms that grow all over, providing food for insects and birds and small animals. Lovely. Uncrossing those legs. See if you can sit in a comfortable position. Growing really tall through your body, just like the stalk of a flower. As we bring our hands together in the shape of a petal, so the thumb and finger stay together, and the hands open up nice and wide. And then we're coming to sit down as we grow tall. As you take a big breath of fresh air in, reach those arms straight up over your head And as the flower sways in the breeze, gently moving the body from one side to the other. So there's lots of different shapes and colours of flowers in the ecosystem, each providing a source of food either for insects or birds, and some even grow into crops to make food for humans too. So slow down, reach up high right in the centre, and then let those hands sink all the way down in front of your heart. So one of the things that really loves the flower the most is the bee. And they're busy flying around, spreading their pollen from one plant to another. So today we're going to be working with our bumblebee breath. So for this one we get to make lots of noise. I'm going to come a little bit closer just so I can see you and say what comments we've got. Just a quick hello. Hi, it's Thomas and Abigail too. So it's lovely to see everyone. Oh, we had frozen. Hopefully, yeah, we're back now. Perfect. Wonderful. So for our bumblebee breath, we are going to be making lots of noise and humming out through our nose, just like the bee when it's visiting the flowers. So we're going to sit really, really tall in the body, give those lungs lots of space. And you might like to close your eyes or even cover them over with your hands. So we're going to make lots of noise as you breathe in, take in as much air as you can. Breathing out with a humming sound. When you run out of air, simply breathe in again. Humming out. Lovely. Let your natural breath settle back in. And just notice how that buzzing and humming like a bee made you feel in your face and your head. And lots of other creatures also like to visit our flowers. So there might be butterflies too that flutter and fly around your garden or other flowers. So bring the soles of your feet together as your legs turn into butterfly wings, sitting tall through the body, beginning to flutter your knees as you imagine floating around, sipping nectar from different plants and enjoying all the different colours and wildlife in the woodland. As we think now about bigger creatures moving out of the insect world, as we come over onto our hands and knees, bring those hands beneath your shoulders and your knees beneath your hips. As we think about different cats, either small domestic cats or even bigger wild cats such as lions and tigers. As you breathe in, round your back up like an angry cat. Breathe out, come forward, maybe with a meow or a roar. Breathe in, rounding, your choice, meow or roar as you come forward. Meow. Breathing in and out. Once more. So coming back to a nice flat back. Really push down into the floor through the tips of your fingers. So you tuck your toes, lifting your hips up just like a big dog. You might like to stay still, or you could walk your legs, bend one knee And then the other as you walk your dog on the spot. And there are so many breeds of dog or wolf. But we're going to make ourselves even bigger again as you walk your feet and your hands together, dangling down towards the floor. Imagining that you're an elephant, one of the biggest creatures on land. As you bring one hand to rest behind your back to make your elephant tail, the other arm dangling down just like your trunk. As you're down here, breathe in, scoop up that fresh water, grow tall. Breathe out, spraying it wide. Breathe in, scooping down, drinking the water. Breathe out, spray it wide. Swap hands over, the other arm becomes the trunk. Breathe in, scoop up the water. Once more, breathe in, scooping up. Lovely. Okay, so we have all this wonderful variety of wildlife on Earth, and there are lots of ways we can support it. And one of the most important things for all living creatures is our humble tree, there to provide fresh oxygen for us all to breathe. So we're going to have a go now at planting our very own tree. So if you stand a little bit further back on your mat or in your practice space and take a big step forward with one leg, bending that knee so you're in a good position ready to dig, bringing both hands together to make your spade. We're going to dig down into the earth, making a hole to plant our tree. One more. Lovely. We have a nice big hole, so we're going to bury our seed deep inside it as you come down to your knees, curling up super small, imagining you're a seed beneath the soil. And as time passes and rain and sun come by, we begin to grow into a tree. The first sapling rising through the soil, growing taller and taller, bringing the feet onto the floor and coming all the way up to stand tall through the top of the head. Those hands come together to form branches each side as you bring one foot to rest onto your ankle. Stay here or maybe slide the foot a little higher just below the knee or place it all the way up in your thigh. Maybe your branches open even wider. Pause here, take in that deep breath of fresh air, blowing out. Lovely, sinking down as we dig another hole to plant our second tree. Step the other leg out in front, bend the knee, take a hold of your spade, begin digging. Now our hole is ready to plant our seed. Sink down onto your knee. Curl up really small in that deep, dark earth. Pausing here, waiting for the wind and rain and sun. As we slowly, as time passes, begin to grow. Rising up onto our knees, growing taller and taller, coming all the way up to standing, head reaching towards the clouds, Hands together as those branches come out to the side. This time standing on the other foot, send those roots into the soil. Placing the foot against the ankle. Stay here or slide up just below or above the knee. Perhaps your branches open up wide. As you breathe in that fresh, cool air and blow it out. Lovely, releasing the feet and arms back down. So as well as providing us with all that oxygen, trees provide homes for many creatures, including lots and lots of birds around the world. So we're going to have another practice at balancing as our birds take flight today. So choose which foot you'd like to stand on first and really plant it down firmly. Spreading your bird wings out wide. Keep your hips nice and square as you send one leg back behind you. And start to slowly lean forwards as your bird takes flight. Taking as long as you can to stand still. Maybe the wings begin to flap. And then slowly coming all the way back to standing. Give those arms and legs a nice little shake. As we practice our bird pose on the other side. Plant that foot down. Notice the difference as you spread those wings out. Begin to lean forward, sending that other leg behind you. Flying together as a flock of birds. Woo. Gently flapping those wings. Hold your balance if you can. Don't worry if it wobbles. Slowly coming back to standing. So in order to survive on our planet, we need lots of different types of weather. So we're going to celebrate the sun. And the sun not only enables plants to grow, provides humans with essential vitamins, it also can be used as a source of power, using solar panels to absorb that energy and heat and light from the sun. So we take 2 rounds of sun salutations to celebrate that wonderful sunlight. So standing towards the front of your space, bring your hands in front of your heart. As we reach our arms up high and fold the body forward. Step one leg back and then the other leg back into plank pose. Knees and body lowering down to the floor. As you roll the shoulders, look up towards that glorious sun. Lift your hips up as you come to downward dog. Take in a big breath. Let it all out. Stepping one foot forward and then the other. Reaching up towards the sky. Hands come down in front of the heart. Once more, reaching up high. Folding forwards. Step one leg back and the other. Bring your knees and your body down to the floor. Roll the shoulders, look up towards the sun. Lift your hips, find downward dog. Big breath in and out. Step forward with one leg and then the other. Reach up to the sky. Bring the hands back to the heart. So as much as we often complain when it's raining, we do also need that rain to help things grow and to provide us with fresh water to drink and to wash. So thinking about the rain now as you stand tall on your feet, your fingers making lovely raindrops as they begin to patter and tap on top of your head, rolling down over the face, onto your shoulders, drifting down one arm as you tap those raindrops down to your fingertips, and coming down the other arm, all the way to the ends of your fingers. Both hands making raindrops pattering over your chest, over your ribs, around your belly. As you fold forward, tapping rain over your legs and knees. Bend the legs, tapping all the way down towards your toes. Don't worry if you can't reach. And then tapping up the back of your legs, rising back up to standing. See if you can tap onto the back of the body. You might need to bring the arms over your shoulders. As you stop by tapping your raindrops onto your heart. And the hands come back together in front of it. We also enjoy and have lots of breezy, windy days. That wind carrying seeds far and wide. And again, the wind can be used to generate energy by turning those lovely, huge white wind turbines. So as we stand tall, floating your arms out wide, and then swaying in the breeze from side to side, maybe imagining you're a wind turbine circling your arms one way, and back the opposite way, generating lots of clean green power. And then coming back to stand nice and still. And melting all the way down to the ground. Coming to find yourself a comfortable place to sit. Because it's clear that our planet does need some extra love and care. The icebergs are melting, forests are shrinking, coral reefs are beginning to disappear. And of our 8 million species, some of them are starting to cease to exist. But we don't need to give up hope because there's so many things we can do to look after our planet. We can recycle and reuse resources. We can use those green sources of energy. And we can provide shelters and food for our local wildlife, looking after those ecosystems. But it's not just on land we need to take care. There's lots of creatures living underwater. As we visit a few of those now on our way down to relaxation, starting with big, bold whales. So as you roll down onto your back, keeping the feet on the floor and your knees nice and bent, resting the arms alongside your body. As we breathe in, we're going to lift these hips up towards the sky to make the shape of a whale, blowing your air out through that blowhole. Big breath in, blow it out. Once more. And slowly roll your back down onto the floor. There are also lots of fish in the sea, which provide a food source for those great big whales. So let your legs drop down all the way to the floor. As you lift your body up and prop up on your elbows, see if you can wriggle those fingertips underneath the base of your back. And then very gently here, begin to lean your head backwards, just as far as it's comfortable to go. Resting here in your fish pose. Perhaps you could imagine the colour and shape of your fish swimming beneath the sea. Maybe it's teeny tiny, or maybe it's really rather big. Very gently slide those fingers out from beneath your back and roll slowly down to the floor. As we think about those glorious coral reefs, all brightly coloured, begin to lift your legs and arms up towards the sky. And as you lay deep beneath the waves, the water gently sways those arms and legs, just like seaweed, from side to side. As the movements slow down, becoming smaller, finding stillness in the very center. Hugging your knees in towards your tummy, just like that tiny single cell of bacteria. And then letting the legs float all the way down to the floor. Reaching for your blanket or cuddly toy as you find a place of stillness, having a wriggle to be a little more comfortable as we prepare for relaxation. Allowing the eyes to close if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, softly looking up towards the sky or ceiling above you. As you imagine you're a tiny star floating in space, looking down towards the planet of Earth beneath you. You notice its blue and green colours, the huge vast waters, and the islands of land in between. A planet that's home to around 8 million different forms of life, with its delicate system, its diverse life. And as you look down at this beautiful planet spinning beneath you, sending it thoughts of peace and love, laying still, watching it spin, sending it well wishes, enjoying the peace until you next hear my voice. Beginning to gently wriggle your fingers and your toes as you become aware of your body resting on the planet Earth. Slowly bringing yourself back to a comfortable seated position, growing tall through the crown of your head, that golden thread lifting you towards the sky. As we close with 3 breaths, just as we began, each time we hear the chime, breathing in and out. As we bring our hands together in front of our hearts, and the goodness in me sees the goodness in all of you, we bow our heads to one another. Namaste. Namaste. So thank you very much for joining us this morning to help celebrate World Environment Day with our yoga practice. As ever, it was lovely to have you here. Thank you for your comments. If you have anything else you wish to ask or say, please do drop a comment in the box and we will get back to you as soon as we can.